Red is one of those colors that you can't ignore. It's bold, it's polarizing, and it demands attention. You either love it or you hate it, but either way, it's impossible to stay neutral about it. Hello everyone, I'm Julie, a formally trained certified interior designer, and on this channel, we love to dissect all things home and design. Today's topic is next in our color series, and it's all about decorating with red. I believe the physiological response to red influences how willing or unwilling we are to use red in our homes. It's not a color that my clients typically ask for in home remodels and renovations. I mean, it's a very tricky hue to use because it can get overwhelming. But I've seen it done with such polish and panache, and I'm not gatekeeping any of this inspiration, which is why I'm making this video today. After watching today's video of decorating with red, I hope you get inspired to add more personality and character into your space, and dare I say, even make red work for you. Let's dive right in. Have you heard of the unexpected red theory in interior design? If you haven't, let me catch you up to speed. The unexpected red theory is a theory that gained traction on social media when an interior designer based out of Brooklyn named Taylor Simon posted a video in January of 2024, and it's already gained millions of views, to the point that even the New York Times wrote an article on it. Her theory is simple. Taylor says that adding anything red to a room, whether or not it's big or small, where it doesn't match at all, automatically makes it look better. Now let's look at some of her examples and see how we really feel about this theory. Take, for example, this color-drenched bathroom with these beautiful lime wash walls and all of this natural stone and these pops of red pedestal sinks. You've got lime wash, you've got stone, you've got brass. I mean, already I'm in. But look at how this red not only pops in the space, but it instantly makes it look even more luxurious. I don't think red and luxury is a combination that people often put together, but that's a statement that it's making in this bathroom. If this sink was black, I would say this bathroom looks very high end. If it's white, I would probably say, oh, the contrast is just really pretty. But the red, this unexpected red, is really what kicks it up a notch. Let's look at the second example that Taylor uses for her video with this tiny little red mid-century lamp. This is one of those offbeat installations that I absolutely love. Of course, it's functional. You know, you have a sofa in the living room and this handy-dandy reading light. I love it. You have so many choices when it comes to the aesthetics of a space. You've got your function down, and now it's time to choose something ultra stylish. You'll see that the space is washed in color, but there's no other pigmented shades of red. So unexpected, yes. Does it work? Absolutely. Now, how about this wavy mirror? I mean, this shape alone is so trendy, right? You've got those squiggly lines. You have this large, oversized wall mirror against really beautiful lime wash as well. So what I want you to pay attention to is not just that unexpected pop of red, but consider all of the complementary colors that are also in this space. We've got green, which of course on the color wheel is a completely complementary color. The green is muted, so this space doesn't scream Christmas at all. You've got this really beautiful beige lime wash to neutralize the green and the red. So in all three of these examples, I do feel as though the unexpected red theory rings true. Adding a bold splash of red to a space where it doesn't seem to belong can actually make the room feel more cohesive and intentional. In a world of modern minimalist design, think beige, whites, and gray, red becomes that unexpected hero. It creates a striking contrast that instantly draws the eye to create more depth and personality in a space. Now, we're looking at this predominantly white room together. I mean, this is very minimal, but also very luxurious. There's not one single piece in here that looks like it's mass manufactured. So you can see how adding a really strategic small piece of artwork instantly draws your eye, focuses on that artwork, and then it allows your eyes to travel into the room. There's just so many trendy pieces in this space. The red elevates the space, but do I think that it really makes the design? Absolutely not. I could take this little piece of red artwork away and the space still feels very beautiful, collected, and lived in. Now let's talk about this red statement sectional in this predominantly wood space. I see a lot of natural finishes in here. We've got primary colors in here, but red doesn't feel so dominant when and it's styled with like a blue accent chair and like a yellow banquette. Because the wood finish on the walls is stained in a natural color, I feel like it really works. It doesn't feel garish. It doesn't feel too like kiddish to me, and I like that. So you can tell that the designer or the homeowner in this case was very intentional about their color palette. They wanted a neutral backdrop and they wanted primary saturated colors for some of their statement pieces. Whether it's a piece of art, a red sofa, or even a red refrigerator, a pop of red really can transform a space from flat to super fab. So my personal take on the unexpected theory of red, I mean, adding a pop of red to interiors is like one of the oldest tricks in the book. I wouldn't necessarily call it a theory because it's been used in so many cultures for so many centuries, but the cultural significance of the color red goes way beyond its usage in your home. The power of red can be seen in so many cultures that have a positive association with it. In China, red is a symbol of luck, celebration, and prosperity. It's a color that's predominantly seen at Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. In Feng Shui, red is associated with the element of fire in the south sector of your home. It's a life-generating energy, and I grew up in a Vietnamese Chinese household. I'm not afraid of red at all. In India, red is a color of traditional bridal dresses. It symbolizes beauty, purity, love, and fertility. Married women also wear red henna on their hands. In Japan, red is a traditional color reserved for heroic figures. It's associated with authority, strength, sacrifice, joy, and happiness. Red is represented on Japan's national flag as a red circle that's filled to represent the sun. Red can have so many different meanings across cultures, from passion, celebration, love, and marriage. Let's start to dissect the psychology of red and what it means to use red in our spaces. Psychologically, red evokes passion, energy, and excitement. In nature, it's a warning sign, often signaling danger or urgency. But in human history, red has been a symbol of celebration, royalty, and power, often associated with luxury and dominance. You know, when I think red, I think drama, think theater, or like a really active, energizing color. Think of your favorite bar or your restaurant, or even brand packaging. In interior design, red is a total game changer. It can stimulate conversation, create warmth, draw your eyes to like a focal point in the room. But because it's so intense, a lot of people play it safe and use it as an accent color, which is actually a great approach, especially if you're just dabbling in color for the first time. But here's the thing, I just want you to remember this. Going all in on red can be just as stunning if you do it correctly and with intention. Whether it's a single red chair or an entire red room, the key is to know why you're doing it. What's the feeling or emotion that you're trying to evoke in the space? Let's go over all the exciting ways that we can use red in decoration and design, starting with red as a backdrop. Red as a backdrop is really about how red kind of recedes in a room. It's not the main character, it's not your sidekick, but it really just sets the stage for the dominant focal points that are in the room. So in this interior space, which I'm absolutely obsessed with, I mean, those red lacquer walls are totally calling my name. But I want you to notice that the red is not like completely saturated. It's been desaturated with pigments of black in it. So you can see that they darkened the color. They made it really rich, really vibrant. But instead of receding into the background completely, you've got this really high gloss finish on it. Now, that's a design trick for you. If you're using a dark color in a cavernous space, think about your sheen levels. In this case, the high gloss lacquer finish reflects everything against it. The lights aren't on, but you can see all of the natural light streaming through the windows. So you get the reflectance of the natural daylight in the space, which actually makes the space feel more vibrant and lighter than it really is. Now, the main star in this room is clearly this custom sectional. I mean, this space is a maximalist dream. The color-drenched red on the walls, the ceiling, I love it. It's like there's so much drama in this space without screaming red. Now, here's another way to use red as a backdrop that's not the main star. There are so many colors in this space. It's happy, it's joyful, it's vibrant. I really even love the art on the walls. I mean, you're kind of pulling in all those colors with this very strategic throw pillow. I think if you were my client and I would say, okay, I'm gonna pitch you this room that has like lavender ceilings, a red accent wall, and like muted furnishings with pops of color and pattern in your accessories, what would you say? Would you say that that was a room that you were excited by, that you just want to crawl into? This is such a happy space to me. You know, the addition of fresh flowers really helps as well in the pops of orange and red, but I love how strategic this color was used as the accent wall. If you're new to the channel, your girl hates an accent wall. Don't just slap some red paint on the wall and call it a day. You have to be very intentional with your design, and I feel like this was such a cohesive space that makes me want to see more of the room and even more of this house. Next, we have this dining room. Red as a backdrop, but not just like plain old painted red. This even looks like, this might even look like plaster or lime wash. A Venetian plaster is a separate finish that you apply directly to the walls. The walls can be primed before that. It can even be textured, but it's an actual finish that gets applied and troweled on, which is why I love the look of plaster and I love the look of lime wash. It provides the depth and dimension that you can't get from paint alone. In this space, red as a backdrop just totally works. I love how the designer lined an entire wall in the dining room with mirrors. This is going to add so much light to the space, especially if you have a room in your home that's kind of in the center of your space. If you don't get a whole lot of natural light, there's not windows, there's not doors, using mirrors to reflect more light and to bounce energy around the room is such a smart move. And Feng Shui loves that as well. A Feng Shui tip for the dining room is to add a large mirror. This really reflects the abundance and prosperity that's seen on the dining table. That is the power of Feng Shui in a space. Not only are you manifesting abundance and wealth for yourself, but you're using strategic design moves like wall-to-wall mirror installations to further your design intent. Red as a backdrop here feels very successful to me because it's not the first color that I see. It's not even the first thing that my eye lands on when I'm in this space. It just feels like a very cohesive, luxurious space. Clearly, this looks like a very high-end design job, but can you imagine injecting red in your dining room in a smaller space? Even in an open concept space, how can you make a red accent wall work for you? Before you embark on a complete redesign of your space because you're inspired by the power of red, I really urge you to consult a color wheel. You'll notice how really different color combinations can come together in a playful and unexpected way. For example, turquoise and red are complementary, while red, purple, and pink are analogous. Red is typically a very dominant and energizing color, but I really can get the same effect using oranges, yellows, even purple in a space, depending on the hue. That's really what I want you to ask yourself while you're looking at these slides with me. It's not about a copy and paste type of, oh, I love this picture, I'm gonna put it in my home. I want you to be inspired by the usage of red and also the color combinations that you see. Now let's see how red looks as a main character in your home. Main character energy is exactly what it sounds like. You are the star of the show, honey. You can't help but command attention. We've got red on the walls, we have red on the bedding, we have red on the floors. I actually love that they didn't do red carpeting and they installed a collection of area rugs instead. This space feels so globally influenced to me. I love all of the antiques. I also love that they chose to stain the wood in a cherry finish. How fitting. And again, with those primary colors, you have this blue stripe that's running the perimeter of this bedroom. And then you pick up all of these blue accents with all of the textiles. So even though red is like the star of the show here, you really gotta love red, of course. But we do add some other pops of color in there, so the red doesn't feel like totally dominant. I feel like after this video, I'm gonna make a case for red lacquer walls, a future project. I love this. You've got red lacquer walls, trim, door, and there's nothing better to neutralize red than with like a really beautiful sisal or jute, any natural type of area rug fiber. Like I love the patterns in the space. Again, we've got collected artwork on the walls. I even love the asymmetrical installation of it. You have a gallery on one side and then, I'm just gonna pop in this like skewed asymmetrical painting and then all of a sudden it looks like I'm in an art gallery. This is one of those spaces where I feel like it's collected over time. This custom little banquette has pattern on it, but I feel like this granny club chair has been in the family for ages. So look to the furnishings that you already have in your home. And can we make red the main character in your space? Imagine if red was exactly what your living room needed to make it come alive. Is that a move that you would intentionally make? When used thoughtfully, red can instantly transform a space into something souped up and very dynamic. Vibrant, unforgettable, like a utterly wow. Do you want your guests to feel that way? Do you want you to feel that way? If you do, consider this next space. Look at this theater. Oh my gosh, this is so yummy. me. I don't even mind all of the motifs on the wall. Even though I love pattern, I love print, it doesn't mean I love every type of decorative print that's out there. Like, I don't like a super graphic pattern. I like something that feels global, it feels layered, which is why I love this space. I don't see any other color but red in here, and I kind of love that. You've got desaturated red on the walls in this kind of brick color with print on it, and then you've got this really soft, cushy velvet, deep, loungy sectional to sink into as you're watching movies. This is probably one of those rooms that my family would live in, really, especially in the era that we are right now with young kids. I love it. So don't be afraid to embrace the power of red. It's all about how you can make it work for you. Main character energy doesn't just mean you slap red on your walls and your ceiling. Main character energy could just be focused, intentional design. Take this bedroom, for example. Red is a main character in this space because it's all about the red bedding. But if you swap this red bedding out, you'll pull another color from the statement artwork that's in the space, and then the space is gonna feel totally different. Red in this interior is not something that you need to commit to since it's just a textile. I have the same note here for this bedroom. What a fun use of playful patterns. You got this like apple print wall covering on the walls, you got this bold stripe on the floors, and then you have these darling poppies as your bedspread, and then you look up and boom, you got this saturated red ceiling. This is like very main character energy, but also one of those design moves that's easy and affordable to swap out. I could easily repaint that ceiling myself and buy new bedding, and then all of a sudden this room looks different. So you also want to think about your level of commitment. How much red do you need in a space for it to feel like wow? Okay, here's another room that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Once we started to curate all of the images for this video, I couldn't stop. Clearly, I'm energized by the color. I mean, look at me. I'm like clad in all red. I love this. You know, there's just texture overload. There's so many things in this space that make me happy. And even though red is the main character on all of the custom millwork, I really love how the designer, Katie Curtis, pulled the red up into the trim for the ceiling as well. She could have stopped at that wall covering, okay? But she was like, no, I'm gonna add a little bit more red here, really make it the star of the show, and add all of this strategic trim work to make the space come alive. What I'm really obsessed with is the color combinations in the space. It's almost as if she found this anchor statement area rug first and thought, you know what are the colors that we can play with in this space? Or the area rug was an afterthought. I mean, that's a very genius design move. I love it. It allows you to pull in so many different colors and make the space feel completely cohesive. I want to end this segment with one of my favorite designers, Miles Red. He is like the ultimate glamour. This space is easily over 20 years old and it still feels so current today. You might not have a granny chic aesthetic like I do. You might hate maximalism, but you cannot deny good design, especially with such a playful color combination as red and pink, which to me is completely timeless. I am going to say that red could easily be a neutral when used correctly. You've got this bold Persian rug, you've got this candy color on the wall, you have this exquisite gallery wall that not only looks like it cost a fortune, but it also feels as though I have a sneak peek into the personality of the homeowner. Like the things that they love, glamour, the things that they're drawn to, print. You know, there's a Renaissance type of quality about this room that I am absolutely obsessed with. And of course, you know, there's like a pop of leopard in there, which as a neutral has the ability to ground any space, no matter how wild it may seem. Now, if all of these interiors felt a little bit overwhelming for you, let's talk about how you can use red as a sidekick in your space. Proportions are very important in interior design. I mean, they really can make or break the space. Always think about how much or how little you want to use red, then design accordingly. This is quiet luxury at its finest, right? You've got this predominantly monochromatic interior. There's a lot of whites, blacks happening, a lot of rich natural woods. And then at the center of it all, you have this really beautiful kind of brick colored accent chair. The brick is then repeated in the area rug. Again, a designer's tip. You don't know what colors are going to feel cohesive in a room. Choose the area rug first. You can also buy the art first, but in this case, they're only using photography. It's black and white. There's no other way for you to pull color in a space. So I always urge you to look towards your accessories to inform your decisions about your color palette. If you're using red as a sidekick, it's in micro doses. In this case, it needs to feel more intentional than the main character or even the backdrop. If you're only going to use red sparingly, accordingly, make it intentional, make it chic, not cheap, and by all means, buy well and cry once. That means saving up for the best that you can afford if you feel as though you want red to be like an investment piece for your space. Now here we see red as a sidekick in accent pieces. We've got this cute little red throw pillow, but it's not the only pillow on this curved sofa. You've got green in here, you've got turquoise in here. So red here again is pulled from the area rug. You see that relationship between the throw pillow and the area rug? That's intentional. This is good design. It makes you feel as though the designer intended it to be that way. They didn't just go out and buy any old red throw pillow and just kind of plopped it on this sofa. I bet you this throw pillow costs like hundreds of dollars. Okay, let's look at this bedroom. Red as a sidekick in this space comes in the form of a completely custom upholstered bed. Now, I love a platform bed. It's framed all the way around, so there's no need for a box spring. There's no need to like clean underneath your bed. There's no need for like a tailored bed skirt, which is like one less thing you need to think about. But in this case, we've got this like desaturated blue gray that's kind of on the walls. So remember, we're talking about the color wheel again, right? When you're using combinations of like red and blue, it could totally work in this space. The blue in this form is tinted into the grays, which for me as a designer, I mean, I see color, I work with color all the time. So I understand that had the designer chosen a warm gray, the space might not work as well, especially when you're pulling in blues in the quilts and the flooring and some of the artwork as well. So this is a really beautiful bedroom to me. It feels very quiet, and that's not easy, especially with a loud color like red. For a bedroom to feel like this calm and quiet, I mean, that's a feat. As you're looking through these slides, I really want you to think about the feeling. How do you feel as we move from space to space? How does red make you feel? Is it happy? Is it energetic? Is it jarring, out of place? We've curated a mix of red furnishings, accessories, and home decor, so you can shop the look below. Direct links will be provided in the description box below. That's it for today's video, everyone. Are you now convinced of the power of red and how it can add some dynamic character to your space? I mean, where and when would you use it? In my own home, I have used red, and I have to admit, it was never intentional. Let's take my guest bathroom, for example. When I was making over the guest bathroom, I knew that I had to get rid of the old pedestal sink, right? It didn't offer any storage whatsoever in this teeny tiny space. So I went shopping, and I was really looking for a console that was in like a reclaimed wood or distressed wood, just like a natural wood finish, because that was like the look, right? I was going for this very like vintage, lived in, kind of global aesthetic, and all of a sudden I saw this red glossy vanity cabinet and I just knew I had to have it. I couldn't shake it. You know, that design intent goes out the window when you just fall in love with a piece and you know that it's going to make your design. So of course, I kind of flipped the entire palette in the space, but it was a move that I'm absolutely obsessed with. You know, guests come into the home, they ooh and all over my glossy red cabinet. So that was a design move that I felt was very successful. Now, moving on to the girls' bedroom makeover. I was ruminating over the color story for this room for so long. And once I found my inspiration image, this kind of like terracotta color, glazy lime wash on the walls, I knew I had to have it. Desaturated red, I mean, I used like this brick maroon color. And can you believe it? This is the actual color that's on the walls. The pure pigment form you can see on the doors and the trim. And then I desaturated and glazed it to have this technique on the walls that appears like lime wash, but it's not. It's just paint and glaze. Moral of the the story is, every time I added red to my home, it was unexpected, it was unintentional, and it really made the design. But I don't want you to expect to throw like a red pillow in your living room on your sofa and then all of a sudden it makes your living room come alive. I mean, that's not gonna do it, you guys. Study your space and give it a chance to grow before you decide on a particular color palette or a hue for it. There is a perfect red color for every interior out there, even if you don't initially love the color. I want to leave you with a quote for this week. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. If you like this type of content and you've loved our Decorating with Color series, please give this video a like and a thumbs up. Comment below and let me know. After watching this video, are you a little bit more confident about using red in your space? I mean, where would you use it? Share this video with anyone you know who's paralyzed by color. Click that little notification bell to be notified of new videos that we drop on the channel every single Sunday. Coming up next week, we have another home tour. This time, I really want to talk to you about everything I've done in my home for the last 10 years since I've been a homeowner. Because, you know, we talk about tips for highly successful homeowners. We also talk about taking it slow with deliberate design, right? Allowing the home to grow and evolve with you. So I really want you to see what it was before and all the changes I've made since. But if you love this video, I definitely want you to watch the Decorating with Color series. We've covered black, gray, green, brown. I mean, what color should I do next? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.